immigration attorneys, US President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order banning or restricting travel from 19 countries he deems as national security threats. The list? It's wide-ranging from Afghanistan to Venezuela, from Iran to Sudan, from Myanmar to Haiti. The official reason? Well, Trump says these nations fail to meet US vetting standards, either due to inadequate documentation, terrorism risks, criminal record gaps, or rampant visa overstays. But critics, well, they say this is not about security. It's about profiling entire regions and shutting America's doors to the global south. This isn't Trump campaigning. This is official US policy, signed, sealed, and implemented from the White House. Trump's move follows a disturbing case in Colorado, where an Egyptian national in the US on an expired visa attacked pro-Israel demonstrators with a Molotov cocktail. The White House is holding up this case as proof that visa loopholes equal terror risks. Now, Trump says in the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers. We don't want them. These are the US president's words. So the new order excludes green card holders and valid visa holders and allows exceptions for those deemed to serve US national interest, but it tightens entry pathways for thousands across Africa, Latin America, and Asia. With visa scrutiny already intense and Trump tightening immigration further, this could shape how people across the globe, especially from certain regions or religious backgrounds, are vetted in US consulates. And globally, this reignites the debate. Is America safer when it's closed its doors? Or is this another page out of the playbook of fear wrapped in a presidential seal?
And Congress MP Shashi Tharoor in Washington said that India doesn't need to be persuaded, as it doesn't want a war. If there was any persuasion by the American president or his senior officials, it would have been persuasion of Pakistanis. They would have to be persuaded in reference to Trump weighing in to stop the war. All it really meant was retribution against terrorists. If Pakistan had not reacted, we would not have reacted, is what Tharoor has gone on to say. He also said Operation Sindoor was a brilliantly chosen name, the color of Sindoor not very different from the color of blood, and explained its significance.
I think the US has understood for some time now that India has a very clear position that there will be no talks with a gun pointed at our head. It's not that we can't talk to Pakistan. I was joking the other day, we can speak all the languages they can speak. And we're very happy to dialogue with them in any of those languages. The problem is we will not dialogue with people who are pointing a gun at our heads. I mean, frankly, if your neighbor unleashes his Rottweilers to bite your children, and in fact to do worse to your children, and then says, let's talk, you think you're going to talk to him until he either unleashes those Rottweilers or locks them up in a kennel or puts them to sleep? It's as simple as that. You're not going to talk to people who are pointing guns at your temples. It's not going to happen.
The message is loud and clear of all the Indian delegations that have spanned across the globe that it is Pakistan who is the aggressor. India only responded to the attacks. India only responded to the various comments, various gimmicks from the Pakistani side. And the delegation was almost copied by the Pakistani side. They also sent a delegation headed by Bilawal Bhutto, which also has been severely criticized. But India's delegation has been warmly welcomed by across the globe, by almost all nations. And in the US, Shashi Tharoor has highlighted why the Operation Sindoor name was chosen. He has given impetus on the word Sindoor as to why this word was important while choosing the name. So that is what the conversation was about, and also the fact that both the parties, BJP and Congress, have now joined hands to spread this message forward.
Well, let's just get you the very latest, and this is in regard to Indian students that are increasingly growing anxious over Trump administration's plans to mandate social media vetting before approving visas for all international students seeking to study in the United States. Social media vetting is a process included by the Trump administration in the visa application courses to assess their suitability to be able to enter the United States or not. The platforms that go through the vetting process includes Facebook, social media site X, as well as LinkedIn and TikTok, amongst others. The United States on Wednesday vetoed a Security Council draft resolution that would have demanded an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the immediate lifting of all restrictions on humanitarian aid. The draft resolution tabled by the 10 elected members of the Security Council won the support of 14 out of the 15 members of the Council. The United States, which holds veto powers, and vetoed against it. The draft resolution would have demanded the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages held by Hamas and other groups, and the immediate and unconditional lifting of all restrictions on the entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza and its safe and unhindered distribution of scale.
美国已多次否决安理会的停火要求，也正是由于美国对以色列的袒护，安理会通过的数份决议均没有得到有效落实。所谓安理会行动将干扰外交努力的说法完全站不住脚。只要是真正致力于和平的外交努力，安理会的行动只会提供强大助力。
Now, days after exiting Washington as chief of DOJ, well, it's Elon Musk who has continued to target. Now, he is targeting President Donald Trump's massive tax and immigration package, better known as his Big Beautiful Bill, escalating his attacks and urging lawmakers to kill the bill. This came hours after several government agencies projected that the bill would add more than 2.4 trillion US dollars to the national debt over the next decade. Not just Musk, many other hardliners, these are hardline Republicans who have also ramped up their attacks against the sprawling 4 trillion US dollar mega package. And it's Russian President Vladimir Putin who has said that he will have to respond to Ukraine's major drone attacks on Russian air bases. US President Donald Trump has warned this after a phone call that took place between the United States President and the Russian leader. After the over 1 hour long conversation, Trump acknowledged the call would not lead to an immediate end to the war in Ukraine. The conversation between the two leaders marks the first since Ukraine launched a surprise attack using smuggled drones to strike Russian air bases on the 1st of this month, targeting what it said was nuclear-capable long-range bombers. The Kremlin statement also noted that the two leaders discussed the India-Pakistan ceasefire during that conversation. The Department of Education has alleged that Columbia University no longer has, accreditation standards and escalation of the Trump administration scrutiny when it comes to the institution, which it has really gone ahead and accused of violating federal anti-discrimination laws. The U.S. Secretary of Education has said that the decision came after this was, basically what really took place at the protest that the students at the university, they were using the grounds opposing the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. The move could have massive implications for college and universities, as education experts suggest it eliminates protections for the students on campus. At least 11 people have died and 50 were injured in a stampede outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru as a huge crowd of fans gathered to greet the RCB team, the Royal Challengers Bengaluru team, after it won the IPL for the first time in 18 long years. Visuals showed several fans fainted outside the stadium and ambulances were not really present. Ambulances were stuck in the crowds and cops were taking the injured away. The Prime Minister has reacted to the stampede in Bengaluru and said the mishap is absolutely heart-rending. Thousands of protesters, including scientists, doctors, disabled people and women right activists, joined Argentina's pensioners on Wednesday in a weekly demonstration against the president's measures. Activists and supporters gathered outside Argentina's Congress building to demand changes to the government's social welfare policy. The protest took place as lawmakers discussed a bill introduced by the opposition that aims to declare an emergency in the country's welfare system.
Hoy estamos acá frente al Congreso porque la discapacidad está en emergencia, tanto para los chicos que necesitan todas sus prestaciones y hoy no las están cubriendo porque se ha liberado todas las obras sociales, hoy se hace lo que quieren, los chicos no tienen ni cómo llegar a las instituciones no tienen cómo solventar todos los gastos que tienen y seguimos dando igualmente todo el servicio de calidad.
2 people died on Wednesday after a giant crane collapsed at the construction site for a new Central Florida hospital, is what officials have gone on to say. The collapse occurred at the site of the new Cape Hospital, which is on the Atlantic coast, about 60 miles or about 90 kilometers east of Orlando. 2 people were transported to a nearby hospital where they later died. This is what the officials really had to say, and they could not even identify the victims at first. Syria's new government has agreed to give inspectors from the United Nations nuclear watchdog access to suspected former nuclear sites immediately. The agency's head has gone on to say that the International Atomic Energy Agency's Director General has spoken in an exclusive interview in Damascus, where he met with the president and other officials as well.
I mean, this visit has a number of reasons, but one very important is the process that we are trying to initiate, or maybe I should say reinitiate, to try to clarify, to bring total clarity over certain activities that took place in the past that were, in the judgment of the agency, probably related to nuclear weapons. So that process was interrupted. Now, with a new government, with a government that is committed to opening up to the world, to international cooperation, I felt that this offered us a good possibility to restart this work and to try to bring to hopefully good conclusion this process. So we are going to be performing some inspection activities even during my visit.
Now, more than 1.5 million foreign pilgrims are in Saudi Arabia for Hajj. People streamed into Mina on Wednesday, which marked the first day of Hajj. Some made the journey on foot, carrying their luggage through temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius. And according to traditional sayings of the Prophet, the day of Arafat is the most sacred day of the year, when God draws near to the faithful and forgives their sins. Now, more than 1.5 million foreign pilgrims who are there. This is what the spokesperson has gone on to say. Hajj is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, a religious obligation involving rituals and acts of worship that every Muslim must fulfill if they have the money and are physically able to do so. Hajj Ministry spokesperson has provided an approximate number for foreigners at this year's pilgrimage. North Korean leader has met with Russian Security Council secretary, and this has taken place on Wednesday. The state media went on to report that in April, the 2 countries officially confirmed that North Korean troops deployment to Russia for the very first time, saying that soldiers of the 2 countries were fighting alongside each other to repel a Ukrainian incursion into Russia's Kursk border region. At the time, Russian President Vladimir Putin had thanked North Korea's participation in the war and promised not to forget their sacrifices. And with that, we're slipping to a very short break. Back with a whole lot more. Do stay with us.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring, because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo, the site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
Welcome back. Let's get you the latest, and this is in regard to Citigroup Inc., which will cut its technology employee workforce in China by about 3,500 as part of its global simplification efforts, while reiterating its commitment to the world's second largest economy. According to reports, the reduction at its Shanghai and other areas, these are solution centers that are expected to be completed by the start of the fourth quarter. Some positions will be relocated to other centers to support the global network. The shock from trade war brings differential effects for central banks in emerging markets, in contrast with the COVID pandemic, when they could easily ease monetary policy. The International Monetary Fund, that is the IMF, Geeta Gopinath, has gone on to say in an interview with the Financial Times newspaper, the fund's first deputy managing director, saying that the unpredictable impact of tariffs on developing economies and the global markets would make the task of their central bankers even harder. Listen in. The European Central Bank is almost certain to cut interest rates again on Thursday and keep all opinions on the table for subsequent meetings, even as the case grows for a summer pause in its year-long easing cycle. The ECB has cut rates 7 times in 13 months as inflation eased from post-pandemic highs, seeking to prop up a Eurozone economy that was struggling even before erratic US economic and trade policies dealt it further blows. And Djokovic beat Alexander to reach the semi-final of the French Open 2025 on Wednesday in Paris, becoming the oldest man to do so since 1968 at the age of 38, with his 101st victory at the clay court. The three-time champion Djokovic set a semi-final meeting with the top seed Sinner, who earlier eased past Alexander in straight sets. Djokovic and Sinner are tied at 4-4 in their head-to-head record. However, Sinner has won the last 3 meetings between the two players. And superstar footballer Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winner as Portugal fought back to beat Germany 2-1 on Wednesday, with the 40-year-old bagging his 137th international goal to send them into the Nations League final. It was Portugal's first win over Germany since 2000, with Ronaldo's goal earning them a spot in their second National League final after winning the inaugural edition in 2019. The English pop singer Jessie J revealed that she has been diagnosed with early breast cancer and will undergo surgery after her performance at the London Music Festival. This is the Capital Summertime Ball next weekend. She has shared the news in an Instagram video, saying that she felt compelled to share her diagnosis. The breast cancer that is characterized by 5 major stages from stage 0 to stage 4. While the singer didn't really disclose further details about her diagnosis, an early stage of breast cancer is highly treatable and survivable, according to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
I was diagnosed with early breast cancer. I'm highlighting the word early. Cancer sucks in any form, but I'm holding on to the word early. I have been in and out of tests throughout this whole period. I just wanted to be open and share it.
And now it's time to get you the first trailer of Wicked for Good that has been released some 5 months before the sequel hit the theatres in November. Now, this completes the adaptation of the long-running Broadway musical inspired by The Wizard of Oz. Of course, this is a trailer that is out, but the show will come out only 5 months later in November. 3 years after Atlanta rapper Young Thug and 27 others were indicted on gang and racketeering charges, followed by a long and problem-plagued trial, nobody will be convicted of murder. When this is what was really announced, the indictment in May of 2022, also going on to say that they were really cracking down on the violent street gang responsible for the multiple killings run by Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, but also, the charges that have been dropped, the only remaining murder charge after the defendant pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of aggravated assault. Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney attended the New York premiere of their upcoming Apple original films thriller called Echo Valley. But her vivacious character has left Sweeney hoping she gets to work more with more again so that she can do all the fun stuff that they got to do during the filming of this. Now, Sweeney says she let her character's heartless nature come through like a vessel. Listen.
I felt so bad because it's always been my dream to work with her, and then of course I'm playing a character that is just so cruel and heartless, and it was killing me because Julianne's one of the most kindest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. So I hope that we can work again and I'm not the vicious daughter that I was to her.
And let's also get you the rainbow decorations and pride flags that are appearing all over Washington as more festivities start for World Pride. Hundreds of LGBTQ plus rallies, seminars, parties, after parties and after parties are also happening in the city, and it all culminates in a 2-day closing festival on the 7th and 8th with a parade, a rally and concerts. This is going to be taking place on the Pennsylvania Avenue. The biannual international event typically draws more than 1 million visitors from around the world and across the LGBTQ plus spectrum. But this year's events will carry both a special resonance and a particular sense of community-wide anxiety due to the policies of President Donald Trump's administration.
Yes, it's a celebration of us, but it's also a reminder to the entire world that we are here and we're not going to be quiet about it. We have rhetoric that's trying to silence us, people that would rather us hide and not show ourselves, but this is the time, and hopefully it's a way to encourage everyone to be present for the entire year, not just for the month of June.
And that's all we could pack in on this edition of the World Report. Thank you so much for watching.
With Post Office Over 50's life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for Amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Whatever you need to ask about cancer, Macmillan's free support line is just a call away.
Hello, Macmillan.
Whether it's money...
Am I going to lose my job?
Getting on with life.
Can I still go abroad? Get insurance?
Or just need someone to listen.
How do I tell them?
Our specialist advisors are here to help as often as you need them. Whatever you need to ask, cancer, money, life, call us now on 0808 134 1000.
Tired of freestanding wardrobes that just don't fit? At Sharps, we design bespoke fitted furniture like no one else, transforming bedrooms into beautifully organised spaces. Our exclusive Space Plus system means we won't be beaten on space. You'll get twice the space of freestanding wardrobes, plus you get our 15-year guarantee for total peace of mind. The unmissable Sharps half-price event is here. Book your free no-obligation design visit today at sharps.co.uk.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And claim a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus worth £259 when you buy today. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
दावत जब दिल में थोड़ी बेकरारी और ढेर सारा प्यार हो, कुछ खास करने का अरमान हो, किसी अपने के आने का पैगाम हो, जब केसर ज़ाफ़रान से ज्यादा छोटी-छोटी कोशिशों से घर महका हो, मेज पर खाने से ज्यादा बनाने वाले का दिल सजा हो, जब मेहमान नवाजी में कोई कसर बाकी ना हो, तब जान लो घर में आज दावत है। दावत, bring out your finest.
2003 is when Munna Bhai MBBS happens to you.
Right.
Dr. Asthana. And then in 2009 is when you become Virus in Three Idiots. And then you make a directorial venture through Mehta Boys.
Right.
It has been quite a journey.
Yes.
But these two characters were particularly those which are seen as iconic. Would you say that they reshaped your entire, acting career?
You're absolutely right. People identify me with these two characters. I have had a learning curve through a lot of other characters too, but yes, there's no denial that these two, and if I might be allowed to put in one more, was Khosla Ghosla Khurana. Because, and you're from Delhi, right? And I was cast for that role, and I was